morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How are you on this fine Monday morning? Trying to get everything all set up here on this fine Monday morning. What what would a morning be without morning coffee? So today's blend is a medium roast. I got some Starbucks creamer in here. Let's try to get our angles together here. And as you see, my more coffee mug has been used as it should be, as it should be. I don't have props, any props up in regards to, uh, far as like merch or whatever. But you can go to successfitnessstore.com to get yours. And yeah, I want to talk to you about a couple things that I've been going through um, over the past 24 hours. It's been one of those. It's just been one of those days when you're trying to, get something done, be productive, and whatever is wrong, that can go down. It does go down, right? It does go down. I'm trying to get this correct angle here, so you kind of got to bear with me a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm still just getting used to this whole going live thing, just period. Trying to, do something new, trying to do something different. I see the part of my head is cut off, far as right there, but I want to make sure certain things are in my shot, like my cousin right there. And this is what, was going on with me yesterday, trying to get this podcast together. And this is one of those times to where you can be frustrated, or do you continue to go on, or do you stop? What do you do when things don't, go as planned? Thank you for joining in to the live stream. Thank you for joining in to the live stream. But what do you do when things don't go as planned? You know, um, in life we have plans to do certain things, and they just fall. Same thing in our fitness journey. We have a plan to do something, and then it doesn't go the way that we planned it. And that's what I wanted to chat with you about. Yesterday, I needed to publish this podcast. I needed to publish this podcast because I'm trying to get back to the swing of things, trying to get back into the swing of things of creating content. I think I'm going to drink my coffee with my right hand. I want to make sure my microphone's in front of me. But, when we have these plans, things don't go as planned. So I had this podcast. I recorded this podcast yesterday, or I wanted to record this podcast. And it was just like things were just not, working out, the way they needed to work out. No pun intended. But what happens when they don't work out? What happens when they don't work out? What do you do? Do you give up? Do you adjust and keep going? Or what is it? In the words of Aaliyah, if at first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. So, but what happens when you keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, and it keeps failing? What happens uh, when it keeps failing? Um, I'll let you know while it's working out. And it's just technical. It's just all technical stuff. It's just all technical stuff. Um, but like I said, I wanted to record this podcast yesterday, but I kept running into the technical difficulties. Everything that you could imagine of what went wrong did, and you learn patience, through all of this stuff. And it's so easy to get frustrated and just wild out, lash out like I would do in my 20s. But I'm in my 40s right now, and things are expensive when I become destructive. I've broken a couple things in my frustration, but there were no visuals when I was recording. There was no visuals when I was recording, um, and I couldn't get the camera into the right position. I couldn't get the camera into the right position, and my battery died. So I'm trying this new setup. As you see here with the background going on, I'm trying a new setup. Right now I am going live via my iPhone, but I was recording on my DSLR. I have a Canon T7i that I've had for, I think, since 2017. I did a video on that when I first got it, and I haven't used it in a while because these phones can do so much. These phones can, do this, right? And so I hadn't used my Canon, and I was just trying to do something different. Again, when something happens in your life, you have to adapt, you have to adjust. And this is part of me trying to adjust. So I'm trying to get this podcast going again. No visuals when I was recording, couldn't get the camera to the right position, and my battery died. And so after stepping away, because I've learned to do that. You got to step away in order to see things clear. So I was making my way upstairs to kind of just reset myself, because I can just sit there and fester, but it's not going to change the situation. So me sitting there and festering is not going to change the situation. So I got up and I'm going upstairs, and my phone rings and my cousin calls, and I couldn't talk to her because I didn't have these headphones. And so when I got my headphone, I came back downstairs, and that's when I realized I had the wrong connections. I had this microphone, which is a USB microphone. I had that. I had the hookups just wrong within the camera, and because I forgot. I can't even. I don't even feel like dragging all that stuff over here. But it's one of those hookups. It's not the USB is kind of like the base, but I think it's called a MIDI, MIDI, or whatever. Either way, I had the wrong hookup. So that can happen too. Sometimes you do need to step away. Sometimes you need to step away in order to see things a lot clearer. And that's happened to me more than one occasion. You ever been working on something and you're just like, man, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. And then you leave and then you come back and you finally see what your error was. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. So back to regular schedule, program. So, it just seemed like I couldn't win. I seemed like I couldn't win. Um, so once I got, the camera set up and everything like that, the right connections, I got my right shot. You know how it is when you record, you try to get the right shot. And by the time I got the right shot, there was a blinking, a red blinking. So a DSLR, if you are not familiar with DSLR cameras, they go off of batteries. At least mine does. And I did have it charged earlier in the day, but the charge goes down so quick. It's almost like maybe a 25 to 30-minute charge where you start seeing the battery kind of go down. I would say maybe the total battery life is maybe 45 minutes. It's been rare that I've shot with that camera all day, and it's been some years. So I'm still I'm still kind of green with it. Because by the time I got it, I was late getting a DSLR. And by the time I got it, that's when these iPhones and these phones started just upgrading crazy with the cameras and everything, like that. So the red light was blinking and meaning like, all right, it's time to charge this thing. So it's time to charge it. So now, after I get my shot all set up, I had to take the battery out and I had to charge it. So it just seems like, I couldn't win. So I took the battery out and set on the charger for about, 20 minutes. After about 20 minutes, now it's time to try to record. And the recording is going well, so I thought. And it's about 30 minutes. And I wanted to make sure I recorded this podcast or that podcast yesterday. And because this was about, my cousin who had passed away. This is why does somebody keep posting up 6K gold to do the thug shake? That's kind of crazy. But Um, this was a podcast about, my cousin who had passed away. And I haven't been podcasting consistently since he passed away in April. And there was really no desire to, when stuff happens, you have this plan and life rocks you. Life rocks you in a lot of ways. And this is one way where it rocked me. And I had been quiet for a while. I had been quiet for a while and let me see what this is. Remove. Uh, I've been quiet for a while. I didn't want a podcast. I'm trying to just moderate this stuff because put user in timeout. Confirm 24 hours. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Be up that early talking crazy, but I wanted to get this podcast out because this is my first time really wanting to talk about it and really trying to, what I'm saying, open up, about what was going on. You know what I mean? And I started to, open up, started to say, you know what, let me start recording this. And when I went to record, all these detours are in the way. All these detours were in the way. And it's like, why? Why are these detours just in the way, the whole time? So I wanted to get this podcast out. And once I started, the camera issues, the battery issues, and everything like that. So, I'm recording and then now I'm in post, now I'm in post and I realize the audio and the visuals aren't lining up, right? Now I'm just totally teed off. And so I'll start YouTubing. I'm like, okay, how do I line this audio up? How do I line this audio up to save this project? Because I don't want to re-record it. I don't want to scrap it. I don't want to throw it away because my plan was to post this podcast yesterday, but it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because I had all these setbacks. And after each setback I went through, I kept trying. I kept trying. I kept trying. So even at this very moment, that podcast is still sitting in my Final Cut Pro folder, and I don't know where I want to go with it, just yet. So how this correlates with you and your fitness journey. How many times have we planned to go to the gym and then something happens? Our Apple Watch isn't charged. What happens when we get up to, go to the gym and we open our garage door and we pull out and now there's a big thunderstorm kind of preventing you from going, or there's a tree that fell, or you take a phone call because something actually happens that needs your attention, and you just can't go to the gym, you can't work out, you wake up and you try to go down the stairs and your feet hurts, your heel hurts, or whatever the case may be. What do you do? What do you do? So comment right now, since I'm getting a lot of comments, about a lot of nothingness at this point in time. But, go ahead and comment about, what do you do when this happens? How do you persevere? Now, do you just stop, or do you dust yourself off and keep trying again? Do you keep trying again? So in my examples, the battery was going out. All right, let's try again. Let's put the battery on the charger. You know, um, I couldn't get the right shot, so I kept trying to adjust to get the right shot. You know, now this audio and this visual is not lining up. So what do I do? Do I give up or do I keep trying again? And this is an example of your fitness journey and or life just as well too, where things happen out of your control. And if you can control, or if it's in your control, how can you adjust? Do you have enough motivation to adjust? Do you have enough motivation to adjust, or do you, give up? And a lot of times we have to step away to see things clear when we bring ourselves back to the situation. No different than when I came back and I had to reconfigure the connections. I saw the connections were wrong. I was so sure that my connections were right initially. I didn't even bother to check it the first time. You know what I mean? And just in your fitness journey, you're so sure about a lot of things, but it's like, why am I off? This is off. This is not giving me the results that I need, that I was hoping for, that I initiated, that I planned. And what you have to do is keep trying, keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. Because if you don't, you will never achieve your goal. So, what I'll do with this podcast is I will put it out. It may not be initially how I would have liked it with the audio and the visuals. It'll more than likely just be a little bit of the audio. No, I'm sorry, a little bit of the video and more of just the audio. It'll be a audio podcast because that's what podcast initially started as, in my opinion, is audio. Audio. Eventually, it's transitioned and evolved into video as well as audio, and that's another testament of life. You have to evolve. You have to evolve. You have to adapt. And here I am trying to adapt to these different situations with this camera, these hookups, the shot, the battery going out, all that stuff. And have you keep you have to keep on keeping on. I'm sorry. You have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. And eventually you will find, success at it, right? Don't keep trying the same thing though. That's the thing. Don't keep trying the same thing. If the weight is too heavy when you're bench pressing, lower the weight. If you're feeling too much pain in your shoulder, adjust. Are your elbows flared out too much? I had a horrible, horrible habit of flaring my elbows out when I bench press, or I wasn't tucking my arms in, my elbows to not flare out so much. And there's been a lot of work to achieve that. My shoulders weren't as flexible. So what do? I start doing a little bit more or more shoulder training, more shoulder flexibility training. And that doesn't mean that it has to be heavier weight. It has to just mean that you just have to adjust and evolve. You have to think differently. Like I posted last week in my other live about how to bench press, how to increase your bench press without bench pressing. And of course, we all know how you get stronger at bench pressing. You bench press. Yes, we do know that. We do know that. We do know that. But there is also other, what you will call supplementary exercises, or what you will call your assister muscles. You have to train those too. And my rear delts weren't as healthy. My left side, everything on my left side was just weaker. So I spent about 6 months in isolation work, or just making sure I'm attacking these weak points to adjust, all to increase my bench press. I don't care if it was by 2 pounds, 5 pounds, or just more control over weight that I normally, do. So today is Monday, International Chest Day, and of course, I'm benching today, or some type of chest workout, whether it's chest flies, dumbbell presses, cable flies, or bench presses. So I think I'm going to rack press today. I'm very, 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 very close to a 405-pound bench press, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm this close. I'm this close to getting that. And this all comes from just having a plan, right? But my plan didn't go as planned. I had planned to, bench 405 probably about like 2 years ago, but my plan was off, or I kept running to these detours. Like, man, why does my shoulder hurt? Why does my triceps hurt? Why is it that I can't grip this bar the right way? And did I give up? No, I kept trying. I kept trying until I stepped away and I came back and realized these are the adjustments that I need to make. I need to work on my rear delts. I need to work on my biceps for my grip strength. I need to work on my lats, my strength in my lats, in order to be able to control the weight on the eccentric. And all of these adjustments got me to where I am right now. Now I'm still not at my goal yet. My goal is still 405 on the flat, but I'm more closer now than what I was 2 years ago because I made adjustments. I kept trying. And even though it's frustrating, you get so close, you get so close, and nothing, you know. I get so close to recording and then the battery goes out. Um, I start recording and then realize the audio and the visual is not lining up. So, no, do I give up? No, I keep trying, but try in a different way. Now, I might not put out the product that I initially wanted, but I can be satisfied with what I have planned to put out. It's where do you go when your plan doesn't work out? Where do you go from there? Do you just stop, or do you just keep going, or do you just keep going? My thing is just keep going and just see what adjustments that you can make. Don't keep trying the same thing over and over and over again and getting the same negative results over and over and over and over and over again. That is a definition of insanity, right? That's crazy. And sometimes we can be a little crazy because we just want things to work our way. We want things to work out the way we want them to work out. And that may not necessarily be the best outcome. We have to adjust, and life is going to throw you a whole bunch of curveballs, things that you cannot control, things you can control. But in the event of things you cannot control, what do? You keep trying. And the things and the events that where you can control, what do? You keep trying. So in both situations, just keep trying. Just keep trying. There is not any perfection in anything that I do because I'm always adjusting. And to think that what you do is perfect is kind of crazy. But I get it though. I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's just crazy because you have this thought process that, oh, everything I'm doing is right. And you come back downstairs and you realize your connections, were off. Not one time did I think to double check my connections. And because I didn't double check my connections, I lost 30 minutes. I lost 30 minutes of time because of, let's say, my arrogance. Arrogance, you can call it being naive, because you're so right. You're so right in your head that you got this correct, and you're naive to also not even think that this could be an issue just as well too. So learning that balance of where you are where you are in your goals, right? Where you are in achieving your goals, trying to achieve your goals, you have to have know how to either step back to assess the situation, one, ask for help, and three, what's an alternative version? What's an alternative approach? What's a variation? In this fitness world, I see it constantly to where people are so boxed into what they believe a certain workout is or a certain exercise is. And what I've come to find out after being a personal trainer since 2017, and it's all subjective, yo. It's all subjective to the individual and how they feel. There are certain times where you can be walking in the gym and you see somebody doing a workout and it may look like bad form. And it may be. It may be. Let's run with that. Let's run with that. It may be bad form to you, but what you do not know is what that person is going through. You know, does that person have an ankle injury? Do they have a hip injury to make them stand a certain way or make them not stand a certain way when they're doing said exercise? You don't know. You don't know, and that person may be executing a variation. So same thing with me in this podcast. I have to now just record it from my phone now. There's a variation. I don't need my Canon at this moment until I get my right connections via Amazon or whatever. So this is a variation, even though I wanted to go live on my Canon because I'm still testing everything out. But what happened is that I actually set this live up on my mobile, and I thought I could go live on desktop, with it. That doesn't work that way. You have to try a different variation. So this is the end result of me going live on my phone. And did I give up? No. I kept trying. It's what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So keep asking yourself that in your fitness journey if you plan on, your fitness goal. You got a goal that you want to hit, whether it's, running, 2 miles straight, or, squatting a certain amount of weight. And let's say you don't get that. Let's say you got a detour, coming up. Let's say, you're about a mile and a half in and your shoes come untied, right? So do you keep running and do you stop, or do you stop and tie your shoe and get back to it? Or, your ankle starts hurting, you start running out of breath. So do you stop? Do you give up? Do you push through the pain? Or do you take a second, walk away from it, and then get back on the treadmill and just keep going? You just got to try. You just got to try. You just got to try. So this has been great. I cannot believe it's going on 26 minutes. And shout out to the commenters in the comment section. I tried to have it marked off to where you can only comment if you've been subscribed for 10 minutes. So for somebody to subscribe for more than 10 minutes to leave a crazy comment is kind of crazy to me. But that's just me. I'm getting new. I'm new to this going live world and things that you all have to go through. So shout out to you if you are a live streamer or whatever. But yeah, let me know what's going on with you today. I'm not going to be here for too long. I got to head out. But I appreciate you taking your time out to listen to me on this morning on my rant about podcasting and how it relates to your fitness journey. So if you got any questions or anything, just leave a comment. Leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Check out my community wall. I'll post there, and also my link tree in what you would call your bio here on YouTube. That'll lead you to all my socials, IG, Facebook. I'm trying to spend more time on YouTube, right? Honestly, IG, I ain't really caring for too much. It's whatever, Facebook, but I'm trying to put more time into YouTube. But just with that being said, I'm going ahead and sign off here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And peace out.